Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please take your seats. As I say welcome to the ALS United Mid-Atlantic's annual celebration. My name is Michael Barkan with NBC Sports Philadelphia, and I'm proud to once again be standing here before you to support the ALS community. As you know, today we are recognizing the Philadelphia Phillies for their 40-year partnership with ALS Mid-Atlantic. Wow, that is unbelievable. Yes. No other team in professional sports compares to what the Phillies have done to support ALS and the ALS cause. There's another round of applause over there. We'll take it and let the groundswell continue. Today's celebration would be impossible without our many generous sponsors. Thank you to our presenting hero sponsors, Asplundh, the Billy Lake Research Fund, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Thank you as well to our visionary sponsors, Conservest, Capital Advisors, the Jefferson Weinberg ALS Center, Parks Casino. Special thanks to Parks for their gift that you will see in your bags at your seats. Thank you also to our mission advancement sponsors, BDO, Citizens, and John and Loretta Russo, and to our other great sponsors who you see listed in your program book. By the way, if you see John Russo, make sure to thank him for the Saquon Barkley trade. As we know, John is I don't know where you are, John, but thank you, John. And Joe Shane from the New York Giants. We want to extend a special thanks to event co-chairs Scott and Holly Asplundh and John and Lee Middleton. Our board of directors, the event committee, and many volunteers and staff. Remember to get your raffle tickets. Tickets are on sale now by the registration tables, and sellers will also be coming around your tables during lunch. Prizes include 4 tickets to the Phillies 2025 opening day in the exclusive CP Rankin Club, plus an autographed Aaron Nola jersey, as well as an amazing sports package with tickets for the Philadelphia 76ers, Flyers, All Elite Wrestling, and an Eagles jersey and hotel stay right here at your amazing Lowe's Philadelphia Hotel. All that in the raffle. We have a wonderful program for you today that includes words from the amazing Sarah Langs and Mandy Bell and the annual Flame of Hope Awards. Before we get into the program, though, I want to direct your attention to the screen for a video from Asplundh, followed by words from Scott, Holly, and Matt Asplundh. Turn your attention to the screens.
When Patty told me that the employees here were doing little things to raise money, and they raised quite a bit, she's like, well, what do you want to do with it? And I said, well, let me think about it. I don't know. And when she came to me and said, how about we do this with the Phillies and the ALS Day, the Lou Gehrig Day, and I thought his background in baseball, I just thought it would be perfect, and he did too. That plus it's given a connection with the area and the ALS group and with one of his passions. So, and what could be more perfect than that? I mean, we appreciate the effort so much, and just to know there are people here that are still behind him and miss him, that means a lot.
Welcome to the 2024 Phillies Lou Gehrig Day. I am Scott Asplundh, and like Lou Gehrig, I have ALS. As most of you know, ALS is a neuromuscular disease for which there is no cure. I was diagnosed a few years ago, and this condition has affected me physically in profound ways. Upon diagnosis, the lives of my wife and children changed forever as well. Today I cannot use my arms, legs, eat or speak. I must use a ventilator 24 hours a day to breathe and a feeding tube for nourishment. It can be a struggle, with some days being better than others. I am able to communicate with you today by using an eye gaze computer that converts my typed words into speech. I can also drive my power chair with my eyes using this device. The technology is really quite remarkable. There are many clinical trials for treatment and a possible cure. I've participated in several of those trials. I think beating ALS will require time, ongoing research, continued funding, and courage. I would like to thank my wife Holly, my daughter Madeleine, and my son Jared, as they have been by my side from the beginning. And of course my doctors, specialists, and caregivers who do battle with me every day. Those involved with the family business, my extended family, and my friends have been a great help and comfort. I am truly grateful for all your concern and support while I continue to fight this disease. I would also like to thank the Phillies organization. Being on this field today means so much to me, as baseball has always been one of my passions. I have wonderful, vivid memories as a young boy, sitting with my grandfather on his front porch at the Jersey Shore, listening to the Phillies games on his transistor radio. And every spring during high school, I took to the ball field to play catcher for our team. That being said, let's all pitch in and do whatever we can to beat ALS. Thank you for listening to me today. God bless you all, and God bless America. Now let's get on with the game. Go Phillies. Play ball.
What a beautiful, beautiful, amazing video. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Scott, Holly, and Matt Asplundh.
Scott's been a mentor of mine for 35 years of business, and I work with family. We're in a family business, and I can tell you, John, the Phillies feel like family. This is the first year of our partnership with the Phillies, and what you have done with that team, we'd like a World Series, by the way, but what you've done with that team is awesome. And from a person that's been in a family business, working with people like Scott and the rest of our family up in Willow Grove, this is awesome. And what you're doing here is extremely meaningful. And I know the folks here, this ALS has hit you at some point in your life. It didn't really hit me until Scott started battling. And it's hard, it's tough, but it's awesome what everybody's doing, and what the Phillies are doing to make it better is, as I said, meaningful. So, Scott, it's great to have you down here. It's great to have worked for you for a long time. Not every day, but most days. But Holly, if you'd like to say something.
First of all, congratulations on the 40 years. That's quite an achievement. 40 years is a long time to do battle with the ALS Mid-Atlantic and help people with this disease and their caregivers. Anyway, I'd just like to say a few things from our perspective. When we were told about the Phillies Day, the June 2nd, Lou Gehrig's Day, I had a number of people ask me, "Are you excited?" And I would kind of get quiet and say, "Yeah," and no disrespect to the Phillies or anything. I'm like, but we would rather not have to qualify for such a thing. But we went down there, and it was great to be on the field. It's great to be in the suite. Scott gave the speech. Scott put together the speech that you just saw. Everything was lovely. But I have one memory seared in my head, and I think I have to share it. So when we were down in the bowels of the stadium, first of all, everybody is so nice. I didn't know how the day would go. Everybody was so accommodating and wonderful. And as we were leaving the media room to get out on the field, the nurses were caring with Scott. My kids were there, and up pops John Middleton, and he took it upon himself to drag Scott's travel bag on wheels all the way down these long hallways. And I was like, you don't have to do that. And he insisted. And so I was behind him as he's walking away, and I was, gosh, he shouldn't be doing that. And then I thought, that's exactly what my husband would be doing. You know, always finding a place to help, looking for a place of need. And so I got a little choked up when I realized that. But so the Phillies organization and the community, as well as ALS, it's very, seeing a need and the spirit of generosity was very evident that day, and I just want to congratulate you for that, as well as great baseball. We like the great baseball. A little cautionary tale to everybody in this room. 4 years ago, my husband was on a baby aspirin and a multivitamin, and then this pops up. So these were the years where we were going to spend more time together with the kids and traveling and all that. Doesn't always work out, so I'm just telling people that come to the house, I say, get busy doing what you want to do, because you never know. This is what we're dealing with now. Anyway, I want to thank my children, or our children, Madeline and Jared. They live in different parts of the country, but they always seem to make it home for different holidays or whatever. They're at my beck and call, they'll come home. Jared's different. He is kind of the family spotter. He always wants to know where he should be standing and what he should be doing. Madeline's very vocal about this whole thing, and she's taken on some titans of the ALS region in order to get things done for Scott. Because, you know, it's an interesting disease. It's different for everybody, and you don't know what you need. So, but I appreciate their help in every way. We have great help who have taken care of Scott every day for the last 2.5 years. And I also want to thank Matt and the operating group. You've been great in keeping us in your thoughts, and anything you could do, you've been wonderful. And we enjoy, I know people in this room have loved ones with this disease or other diseases, and it's great that you're there for us, there for the patient. But make sure you set out a little time for the children and the wives, because we could just use that. That means a lot to us. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the Middletons. And that's it. Thank you.
John, thanks so much for letting us be a part of this. This is great. I had the opportunity on Lou Gehrig Day to throw out the first pitch, and you know, all you're thinking about is throwing a strike, how you're going to do it, and then you see people like Scott and some of the other folks in here that are battling this illness, and that pitch is not that meaningful. It makes the pitch a hell of a lot easier, I can tell you that. So, John, thanks for having us. It's a great partnership, and we look forward to the upcoming years. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Matt, Asplundh. One more round of applause for the Asplundhs. Today we are here to honor the 40-year commitment from the Philadelphia Phillies to strike out ALS. And here to say more about what the Phils mean to this cause, please welcome ALS United Mid-Atlantic Executive Director Jeff Klein. And John Weber. No, not yet, John.
Thanks very much, Michael. I say this every year, and I really mean it. I am the lucky guy who has the honor of being Executive Director of ALS United Mid-Atlantic. I've been involved with this amazing organization for 19 years. Best job I've ever had, and the longest. So allow me to welcome you on behalf of the Board of Directors, our staff, our volunteers and contributors, and most importantly, the people with ALS and their families we are truly privileged to serve. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. Let me start by taking a quick poll. So please, raise your hand if this is your very first annual celebration. Okay. An extra special welcome to you, and for the rest of us, this almost feels like a family reunion, doesn't it? Speaking of families, to the Asplundh family, Scott and Holly and Matt, and the members of your corporate team, relatives, friends, and business associates who are supporting Scott, thanks so much for your extraordinary generosity. We are honored to have that you have decided to establish the Scott M. Asplundh Named Fund with our organization. So friends, today we're gathered at this place to do something truly unique and wonderful, and that is to recognize the Philadelphia Phillies, make that the 2024 National League East champion Philadelphia Phillies for all they have done to strike out ALS since 1984. Think of 1984, that's 40 years ago. Many of you in this room were just kids then, or were not even born yet. In fact, the entire roster of Phillies players wasn't born yet. So another quick show of hands, how many of you were born after 1984? That makes the rest of us, I'll say, seasoned veterans. So just for fun, here's a peek at some other things that happened in 1984. That's the year that iconic shows like Jeopardy, Miami Vice, and Murder, She Wrote first hit our TV screens. In 1984, Steve Jobs launched Apple's first all-in-one Macintosh personal computer. And in baseball, something historic occurred that year. The longest game in MLB history was played on May 8th and May 9th between the Brewers and White Sox. That game lasted 25 innings and took 8 hours and 6 minutes. Talk about needing a deep bullpen. 14 pitchers appeared in that ball game. But we all know, of course, in 1984, wink, wink, the most important development in Major League Baseball was when the Philadelphia Phillies agreed that ALS belongs in baseball and took a gamble on what was then a fledgling organization, hoping as partners we could make a difference for people affected by the devastating disease that claimed the life of one of baseball's greats, Lou Gehrig. To our valued partners in this fight sitting in front of me, we think you made a sound investment. That investment has accrued untold dividends over the decades to so many people through our care services program that is second to none, including ALS clinics, medical equipment, in-home care, communication devices, and so much more. All of these services are coordinated by what I call our team of angels that consists of social workers, nurses, and assistive technologist, care coordinator, and counselor who collectively, now hear this, have more than 3 centuries of experience in their professions. In addition to providing direct care services to people impacted by Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS United Mid-Atlantic also supports ALS research. This past year, our organization funded 5 separate projects totaling $350,000 with grants to premier research institutions, 3 of which are right here in the city: Jefferson, Temple, and Penn. And we are leaders in ALS advocacy, securing nearly $3 million in the Pennsylvania state budget for neurodegenerative disease research. That's worthy. Friends, it's been said that the most precious commodity on earth is time, because it's the one thing no one can ever get more of. In a word, time is invaluable. And for 40 years, the Phillies organization has given their invaluable time, to help support us, help people living with ALS and their families. So here is a video showing some highlights of those years.
Like most relationships within the Phillies organization, the members and patients of the Greater Philadelphia chapter have become an extension of the Phillies family.
The Phillies' involvement with the patients means so much to them.
Over the years, we've met wonderful people through the ALS Association, the patients, their courage, their fight. It's really something awesome to witness and to be a part of.
ALS hits home pretty hard for me. It's pretty tough to see. It's a tough disease. Obviously, we wish we have a cure, and hopefully we come by one soon.
The only way you could really fully understand it is if you had it, because people come out supporting, giving you that unconditional love and support. You started to get an idea like these people have had a major impact on me, but I didn't realize how much of an impact I had on them.
It's all about hope, and it's about a goal. It's all about seeing something on the horizon and gritting your teeth and putting your head down and just doing it. It's not what you do, and it's not what you say. It's the way you make people feel. And in this case, that feeling is hope.
The more awareness we can spread, and I think it's great that MLB is doing that. And the Lou Gehrig's Day was awesome last year, and I think that we can get it bigger. The more we can do that, the better it is for everybody.
We thanked our friends at Asplundh for their generous donation and commitment to the fight against ALS. Together, we can fight for a better future for everyone impacted by this devastating disease.
When people talk about the different generations, it tells you the effect that this has on the city of Philadelphia. And you think about that started off on a runway in a hotel as a fashion show. This thing seems to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Hopefully we continue it and it can continue to grow.
Our hope is the Phillies organization will continue to shine a bright light on the Philadelphia chapter of the ALS Association and all the good work that they do.
The Phillies and the ALS Association are eager to forge ahead and reach new milestones in the fight against ALS.
Thank you. It is now time for our Phillies presentation. Can we have the folks from the Phillies join us up here on the stage? We'll all fit. We'll make it fit. Just as a little intro, I want to say that from the bottom of my heart, I've been involved, as I said, for 19 years, and there really is nothing like this partnership in all of professional sports. So to the Phillies, on behalf of the countless people impacted by ALS that we have been able to help due to this extraordinary partnership, we salute you, and from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. Now, to present a special gift to show just how much you mean to us, it's my pleasure to call upon ALS United Mid-Atlantic's Board Chair, Dan Quinn.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is one of my greatest honors to honor a baseball team that I live and die with every year. Sure. And a couple of my children are here today, and they will tell you that I love the Phillies more than I love them. And I look at them and say, well, I've known the Phillies longer. So, but we're honored here today, and to John and Lee Middleton and your phenomenal organization, it is my pleasure to present this gift to show our appreciation to the best team in all of professional sports for what you do to strike out ALS. John? Thank you. I'm going to read the...
It's gorgeous.
It reads, on the occasion of ALS United Mid-Atlantic's annual celebration honoring the Philadelphia Phillies at Lowe's Philadelphia Hotel, and on behalf of the people with ALS and their families we are privileged to serve, the board, staff, and families of ALS United Mid-Atlantic extend profound gratitude and appreciation to the entire Phillies organization for being our valued partner in the fight to strike out ALS for 40 years. Thank you.
Jeff, Ellyn, Dan, thank you for joining and celebrating the Phillies' 40-year partnership. We're proud to have raised awareness funds to support ALS United Mid-Atlantic. It's been our honor to partner with you since 1984. 1984, opening day was April 3rd in Atlanta. The Phillies won 5-0. Steve Carlton pitched 7 shutout innings, and Mike Schmidt hit a home run. Just what you expect from 2 Hall of Famers. Over the past 4 decades, the Phillies' commitment to giving back to this community has grown substantially. However, it was with our relationship with ALS that set the foundation for our commitment. From Bill and Nancy Giles to David and Lynn Montgomery, and now John and Lee Middleton, the Phillies and Phillies Charities support countless organizations, but the legacy of our giving began with ALS. Our partnership cherishes the lives we have impacted, the families we have met, and the memories of the patients we have lost. Our bond is a powerful reminder of what can be achieved when organizations stand together to make an impact. Our corporate partners have been instrumental in growing our relationship with ALS. I want to recognize Independence Blue Cross, Citizens, and of course, one of our newest partners, Asplundh. As you saw in the video, Asplundh generously contributed $350,000 to the Lou Gehrig night at the ballpark, and we were able to raise $750,000. We are fortunate and proud to have Citizens, Independence Blue Cross, and Asplundh as partners. Thank you for joining our efforts to support ALS Mid-Atlantic and conquer ALS. I have Larry and Tommy are up here with me, and Greg's Gross is here with us as well, representing the Phillies players, coaches, and managers who are participating in our fight against ALS. It is a team effort. The front office, the players, coaches, you saw in the video, Rob Thompson had Herbie into his office, had Michael, who's here with us, in his office, and it was really something special to witness. But I'd like to just have Larry say a few words on behalf of all the managers, coaches, and players.
All right. First of all, I want to welcome everyone here today. Sort of took me back a little bit when I saw the fashion show. You know, I thought I was styling out there. I had the bell bottoms and the curly hair going, and those are good memories back then. But the fact that we're still involved, you know, when you have a group of owners led by John Middleton that commit to something like this is something special, believe me. And to do it for this long is incredible. You know, a lot of teams come in and will do it for a year or two. But what John and the Phillies have done, they've continued this. And it's an honor for me to be here today to represent all the players and coaches who took part in building the special relationship between the Phillies and ALS. One that has spanned 4 decades. That's a long time, 4 decades. What a remarkable accomplishment and testament to the commitment of both organizations to help ALS patients and their families as they battle this dreadful disease. Meeting the patients and the families and seeing their spirits uplifted at the festival for all those years is something you can't put words into. It served as a lasting memory and a reminder that they were cared for, recognized, and supported beyond the medical treatment they were receiving. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Ellyn Phillips for all she has done to inspire patients to inspire patients and everyone involved to continue to advocate for more awareness, greater funding, and advanced research in the hope to cure this nasty disease. On behalf of everyone impacted by ALS, thank you, Ellyn. And the Phillies have something for you. You know, we have great ownership here led by John. You're going to get a check for $40,000 for 40 years that the Phillies have been associated with you. So we got to keep going. We got to keep this thing going because as a player, a coach, and a manager, when these patients come down in the clubhouse, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how strong they are. And I take my hat off to you, believe me. I wish you nothing but success, and I know John's going to continue this as we move forward. So, besides getting a cure for this, John, these people want another World Series here. So, all right, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Phillies, and thanks to John Weber, thanks to Tommy Green, thanks to Larry Boa, thanks to everybody in the Phillies organization, but in particular, thanks to John and Lee Middleton. And you heard about the 40-year association between the Phillies and ALS, and that was begun. We'll hear from Ellyn Phillips later, but Bill and Nancy Giles were the stewards of this initially, and David and Lynn Montgomery took it over, and now John and Lee. And it's something that they hold near and dear. My friend, Governor Ed Rendell, used to say, you know, there's no such thing as a bad charity, and indeed the Phillies help many, many charities. But the flagship for the Phillies is ALS, and that says so much about their commitment to kindness and generosity. So please, one more time for the Middletons, for the Phillies, big round of applause. Thank you, John and Lee. And also, it struck me listening to Holly Asplundh speak and seeing Scott, and we remember always, Scott's still there. And that's the just terrible part of this disease. And I think of those that we've lost since my association, since I was blessed to meet Ellyn Phillips, those we've lost, Dick Bergeron and Wesley Rose and Shelley Cardonic, among many, many others. And we fight in their names as well to eradicate this disease. So thanks again, Phillies. Thanks to the Middletons, John Weber, and everybody who's here from the Phillies organization, as they've raised $23 million to strike out ALS since 1984. And that money supports programs that benefit local ALS families. And here to talk about what that means for ALS patients and families, please welcome Marie Mullins Bishop and her husband David Bishop, ALS United Mid-Atlantic Director of Care Services Steve Spalding, and Nurse Coordinator Gail Hausman. Come on up.
Greetings and welcome, everyone. My name is Marie Mullins Bishop, and this is my handsome husband, David. Although he is the one diagnosed with ALS, as his wife and full-time caregiver, both our lives are impacted by the disease. We live in the New Jersey area, but grew up in Philadelphia, and we continue to love our Philadelphia Phillies. We are here today to let you know that the support from the Phillies and all of you doesn't just make us feel nice for one day. It helps us every day of the year because of the care because of the care team at ALS United Mid-Atlantic. When you hear that you or someone you love has been diagnosed with ALS, you really don't know what to do next. Nobody is prepared for this. No one taught us ALS 101, so we're lost. But my friends at ALS United Mid-Atlantic help us prepare. They help us every step of the way so that I can care for the man I love the most. I wanted to come today to say thank you from all of us living with ALS. What you do makes a difference. Your impact is real. ALS Mid-Atlantic has become our second family because they do so much for people like us. Thanks to so many people like all of yourselves, we have learned that ALS really stands for always love someone. Thank you to all of you from the bottom of my heart. And now, Gail will tell all of you just what your help makes possible. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gail Hausman. I'm a nurse. I've been with the ALS group for the past 24 years. I want you to hear about the different programs that we offer thanks to the Phillies and to other generous donors. We support people with ALS and their families who live in our catchment areas, which include half of the state of Pennsylvania, all of South Jersey, and all of the state of Delaware. We support several multidisciplinary clinics, and just have to give a shout out to the one that I'm involved with, and that's the Jefferson Weinberg ALS Center. We help support research. We have a bunch of programs. We have an accessibility program, so that helps with stair glides and ramps. We have an in-home care program. We have multiple loan closets, so equipment, and also communication equipment. We have many support groups, and I need to give a shout out to Dottie Orenstein, who's over here. Dottie and her husband Ben started the first support group about 40 years ago in their home. So we've continued with the support groups. We have an individual caregiver support group. We have Caregiver to Stay. We have a transportation program, a visiting volunteer program, which would be like friendly visitors. We do educational things. We have fun events. We have a holiday party, Longwood Gardens, and Knoebels for families. We do home visits. We do virtual visits. We have Elisa Brownlee, who is, I don't know where she is, but she's our assistive technologist. And at no cost, she will do a virtual home assessment evaluation. She'll say to patients, this is what I would spend money on. I wouldn't spend it on this. She kind of gives gives them her suggestions. More importantly, and perhaps most unique versus other nonprofit health organizations, we provide each patient with a social worker or registered nurse who will check in with them, be available to answer questions, provide support. So when Marie here has questions about insurance, she's going to contact Janie Eskovitz, who's in the back there. When Doug Yoakum has questions about home care, he's going to contact Ann Cooney, who's over there. Ann. And when John Russo just wants to shoot the breeze, he'll contact Melissa Call, who's back there. Steve Spalding is the director of all these programs and our staff. Steve is able to lead our team while maintaining a sense of humor with us and care for the patients we serve. In my opinion, Steve specializes in kindness, perhaps a characteristic that is in short supply these days. I like what one of our pals, Mike M., ends his emails with, a quote from the late Robin Williams. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always.
Well, Gail threw me off there because I didn't expect to be part of her speech. So, so you all know who I am. Many of you already knew who I was. I was thinking, starting off, it's great to see so many familiar faces and to meet so many of you down at the parking garage and the other places that you'll find me. I'm going to start off by inviting my team to stand up and be recognized. Can I ask the whole Care Services crew to stand up and be recognized, please? Folks, you are looking at the combined talents of decades and decades of experience, commitment, and compassion. We are real people providing real help. When a person with ALS calls, they talk to a real person, a person they know, a person who knows them. We see you at clinic, at home, by phone, by email, by text. In any and every way we can, we connect with you. Those you see standing here have walked this journey with so many people living with ALS and their loved ones for many, many years. We do it because it is an honor, truly, to serve extraordinary people like you. You will not find a stronger, more compassionate group of professionals anywhere. So on behalf of me and my team and our entire organization, from the heart, thank you for making this possible.
Thank you, Marie, David, Steve, and Gail. And if you'd like to say hello to Steve later, he'll be in the parking garage. Among other places, of course. Also, at the behest of Dan Quinn, stop it, Dan, with the ALS United Mid-Atlantic Board, please rise, please stand to be recognized. The ALS United Mid-Atlantic Board. Okay, so here's what we've got. Once again, thank you to Ben and Dottie for all you've done for ALS families over 4 decades. Lunch is now being served. Still a few minutes left to get your raffle tickets. Please look for raffle sellers throughout the room. Also, don't forget to share any photos that you take today and tag us on social media at ALS Mid-Atlantic. And in a few moments, we will reveal the raffle winners and then show the 2024 Flame of Hope Awards. Enjoy your lunch.
The Whiz Kids had won it, Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell, the Thumper and Mel Parnell, And Ike was the only one winning down in Washington. I'm talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Feller, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Now my old friend, the bachelor, well, he swore he was the Oklahoma kid. And Cookie played hooky to go and see the Duke. And me, I always loved Willie May. Those were the days. Well, now it's the 80s, and Brett is the greatest, and Bobby Bonds can play for everyone. Rose is at the vet, Rusty again is a Met, and the great Alexander is pitching again in Washington. I'm talking baseball, like Reggie Quisenberry, talking baseball. Carew and Gaylord Perry, Seaver, Garvey, Schmidt, and Vida Blue. If Cooperstown is calling, it's no fluke. They'll be with Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Mickey and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey. It was Willie, Mickey and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey. I'm talking Willie, Mickey and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey. Willie, Mickey and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey, say.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never go back. 'Cause it's a root for the home team. And if I don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's a 1, 2, or 3 strikes to out at the old ball game.
And our friends from All Elite Wrestling, who recently met Josh at a TV taping in Philadelphia. They are AEW wrestlers Bryce Remsburg, Anthony Bowens, and Wheeler Yuto. And this wrestler, you ought to see the Fanatic wrestle. Are you ready to wrestle the wrestlers? Let's go. Yes, he can do it. Ha!
Back up, Fanatic. How are you?
Thanks for being here.
How are we doing, Philadelphia? That wasn't good enough. This doesn't sound like the Phillies fans that I know from Veterans Stadium at Citizens Bank Park. I said, how are we doing, Philadelphia? My name is Anthony Bowens, better known as the Scissor King or wrestling's 5-tool player. This is referee Bryce Remsburg, and this is Wheeler Yuta, and we are here representing All Elite Wrestling, which you can find on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on TBS, Saturday nights on TNT, and coming in January, HBO Max. We want to thank the Philadelphia Phillies and the ALS Mid-Atlantic for having us today. This is an absolutely wonderful event, and we are here to strike out ALS. And we're going to do that by raffling off some incredible prizes. And Bryce, let's go. Would you like to announce some winners?
All right. Help me out here. Help me out here, Josh. Do the honors, please.
All right, Josh, get the pick. Our first winner was the...
Drum roll? Do we drum roll? I don't know. Drum roll? There we go, yeah.
Beth Ann Murdoch.
Beth Ann Murdoch? Hey, Beth, congratulations. If we just wave like that. Very good, Beth. Woo.
All right, Beth, we'll make sure we get this to you. All right. That is the Flyers.
Your Flyers? All right. Uh-oh. I smell a rat here. Tony Burns? Tony, you win Phillies tickets? That's very confusing. No, that's not true. You're going to come see us at All Elite Wrestling. Perhaps this Wednesday night at the Santander Arena in Reading, Pennsylvania. Perhaps next Saturday at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. But where are you, Tony? Hey, oh, you're right there, Tony. How, the shoe's on the other foot now. We're leaving you tickets. Look at that. This is the Sixers tickets. For the Sixers tickets, we have Liz Malbuff. Liz? All right, Liz. Take us home, Utes.
Oh gosh, I can't read this though.
No cursive next year, guys. No cursive.
No cursive. Come on, guys.
Mark Tagwell? Mark Tagwell?
Yeah, I believe this is Mark Tagwell. You win the Eagles package. Mark, you here? There we go. Perfect.
Leapfrog's not guaranteed.
All right, and here's our last one. This is the Phillies package for opening day.
Woohoo.
And the winner is Seth. I'm sorry, Seth, I cannot read your last name. Newman, there we go. Seth Newman. Yeah, wow. Lucky table today. There you go. All right, congratulations, Seth.
If you need someone to go with you on opening day, we're at table 2.
Yeah, we will be here, yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your help, Mark.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Good job. That was so great.
I am a Dale Scheimer fan. I love Dale Scheimer. He was a visiting volunteer for many, many years. He's been active on our boards. He would come to the clinic every week and he would greet people and put them in a room and offer them a cup of kindness and a cup of coffee too. Dale recognized that some equipment that you need for patients are covered under insurance and others are not. So he actually started the loan closet at our organization, and that's a huge program. That's one of our big programs.
Our organization named the equipment loan program after Dale's wife, Marjorie. So it's the Marjorie Scheimer Durable Medical Equipment Program that are free for the people we serve.
It's not easy to live a meaningful life with ALS. The loaner closet is very helpful because it actually allows people to borrow equipment, to get equipment in order to get around. I myself am on a scooter right now. I have canes. I have a chair for the shower. I have other equipment, much of which came from the loaner closet.
Dale's just been so involved with our organization in different ways. And throughout it all, the thing that I admire about him most is that he's humble. He really is a humble soul.
Dale, we've known each other a long time. This is so richly deserved. Congratulations on your Flame of Hope Award.
Delaney family has been involved with the fight against ALS since my mom was diagnosed, which was in the late 1980s. As far as research goes, my mom, when she passed away, donated tissue. And then when Karen was diagnosed, my sister, she made herself into a guinea pig. Hair, fingernails, spinal fluid. So our family has always believed in research. We've always felt that it was the way to go to find a cure or treatment for ALS. My dad is now the head of the ALS United Mid-Atlantic Research Committee, and he's rocking that role. There's my dad.
Good morning. Larry deserves a Flame of Hope more than anybody I've ever met. He puts so much time and effort into the fight against ALS. It just amazes me every time I talk to him. And now we've got a research committee that Larry heads up, and we're actually giving money directly to some of our research partners who are instrumental in developing new things to cure ALS and help people with ALS live longer and more meaningful lives.
Not only did he organize the committee and run the meetings, but he ran the process through which we have now made 5 research grants. I can't begin to imagine what our organization would be like without Larry Delaney.
Congratulations, Dad. I love you. We all love you. We're so proud of you and think you're just a gem.
We're here today in memory of my father, who had a terrible disease that we have embraced as a family to really try and help.
And we're here at one of his places that he loved the most, Old Jerk Road Country Club, doing another annual golf outing. When our dad got diagnosed, he always said it's not going to help him, but hopefully it helps the people following him. I think our mom, along with our family, has really taken that and ran with it.
And then you put this in your apron.
Ever since my dad was diagnosed with ALS, my mom and our whole family have been very involved with the ALS United Mid-Atlantic. She has gone above and beyond in terms of fundraise to really drive further forward research and support for ALS families and patients.
She has been a part of the advocacy for ALS down in DC, and then she has also, of course, been a part of the Roger Kirk ALS golf outing. With my mom's leadership, we have now raised over $500,000 for ALS United Mid-Atlantic, so it's really exciting to be a part of something so important.
My parents were, they were married for 30 plus years. They always had each other's backs, and since my dad's not here to have the back of the ALS United Mid-Atlantic, my mom has filled that void. And I don't think she's stopping anytime soon, to be honest with you.
We love you, Grandma!
Special persons, now please welcome the individuals receiving the 2024 Flame of Hope Awards. Mary Ann Kirk for ALS Advocacy and Awareness, Dale Scheimer for ALS Care, Larry Delaney for ALS Research and Innovation, and Dale will be introduced by previous Flame of Hope winner Sarah Brendel, while Larry will be introduced by Stacy and Dan Farber. To begin, please welcome longtime friends of the Phillies and ALS community, Greg Gross and his wife Connie, to the stage to introduce Mary Ann Kirk. Gigi.
Don't drop this. Thanks, Michael, and thank you all for being here today, especially everybody who we're honoring from the Phillies for their continued long-standing support of the fight against ALS. I have the distinct honor of presenting the Flame of Hope Award to my friend, Mary Ann Kirk. In 2013, Mary Ann's husband, Roger, was diagnosed with ALS. The support from his family and friends was unbelievable. Roger was president of the Old York Country Club, which is the home of our annual ALS golf outing. Mary Ann and Roger worked tirelessly to bring attention to ALS. While his symptoms progressed, they visited Washington, D.C. to share their story, all along continuing to work and support the outing. Sadly, Roger only was able to attend 2 of those outings as he passed away in early 2015. To honor Roger, the outing now bears his name, the Roger Kirk Memorial ALS Golf Outing. After Roger's passing, Mary Ann did not stop. And if you knew her, nothing can stop her, as you just heard from her family on the video. She is much like our mutual friend, Ellyn Phillips, who 40 years ago teamed with the Phillies and to help fight this dreadful disease. And like the Phillies, Marianne knows that it takes a team to win. She has her own amazing team of children, grandchildren, family, and friends who continue to make this event a success. They know if she refuses to quit, neither can they. My wife Connie and I are very proud members of Team Kirk. Each year, Marianne invites someone to speak at the outing to share their ALS story. She never forgets the purpose of her work or the mission. Please join me in celebrating our teammate in the fight against ALS. Please welcome Flame of Hope honoree Marianne Kirk.
I said to Greg, I don't like talking as much as he doesn't like doing it. So anyway, thank you, Greg and Connie, for the nice introduction. I appreciate all you have done for the Roger Kirk golf outing over the years, but most of all, has been wonderful to get to know both of you. For those who don't know me, I am Marianne Kirk, and I had the privilege of being married to Roger for 35 wonderful years. Today, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the ALS United Mid-Atlantic, the Phillies, and to every person here. Roger fought a brave fight, and our family couldn't have done it without the strength, kindness, and support of this incredible ALS community. The Flame of Hope Award for Advocacy has my name on it, and I'm truly honored. But it belongs to the entire Kirk family, and especially my kids. My 5 children, our growing family, and Roger's siblings continue to be the driving force behind our commitment to raising money and awareness for ALS. For over a decade now, ALS has been a part of our story, a story we have shared through golf outings, walks, and countless conversations, all in Roger's honor. Roger wanted the world to know and understand ALS, not for him, but for those who've come after him. We want people to understand how serious this disease is and what we all can do to make a difference for the families fighting ALS. An ALS diagnosis is a shock to anyone who hears it. ALS also helps you learn just how strong you are and how loved you are. Roger was loved by everyone who knew him, and he lives on in all of us. We have been blessed with a big family, a network of friends, and countless supporters who have stood by us in our journey. People like Ellyn Phillips and the team at ALS United Mid-Atlantic have been by our side, guiding us through every step of this path. For that, I am forever thankful. This award is called the Flame of Hope. It represents the motivation in all of us to keep going in the fight against ALS. Roger is our flame of hope, and he's the one who has inspired us to keep going, to keep fighting, and to keep hoping. I am deeply honored to receive this award. Advocating for the ALS community is a cause that unites us. Thank you for this meaningful recognition. It inspires all of us to continue this important work. Thank you.
Sporting precious cargo here. 15 years ago, after my neurologist recommended I begin treatment for ALS, I attended my first clinic visit. Sitting in the waiting room, I was terrified of my future and all the changes ahead. When my name was called, I was greeted by Dale Scheimer, a volunteer greeter at the clinic. Dale walked my husband and I to our room and offered us a drink. His warm smile and calming presence immediately put me at ease. I did not know Dale then, but Dale understood what my family and I were facing. 25 years ago, Dale lost his beloved wife Marjorie to ALS. He then created the Marjorie Scheimer Equipment Loan Closet as a tribute to her, to help people like me access things like wheelchairs and other tools to make sure we had what we needed as our symptoms progressed. Dale took the pain of losing his wife and turned it into something positive for people like me who he had never met. As a board member with ALS United Mid-Atlantic, Dale took part in every committee. He knows the organization inside and out, and he has always been committed to doing right by ALS patients. Dale has also been a visiting volunteer, providing comfort and friendship to people with ALS when they need it. Most importantly, Dale has always been there for people like me. When someone is diagnosed with ALS, they don't know what to expect. They do not know what comes next, or what they will need, or who will help. There's so much anxiety in those early moments after a diagnosis. Dale made sure that all of us would have what we need so that things could be easier. Dale's tribute to his wife is a gift to all of us with ALS. On behalf of all ALS patients, I am very pleased to present Dale Scheimer with the Flame of Hope Award for ALS Care.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
At this point, you'll probably be glad to hear that I'm generally known as a man of few words. So I'll just say thank you very much for the award. And during the time when I was doing the various things with ALS, I always felt that I was really just paying back for all the support that I got with my wife when we needed it the most. And thank you again for the award.
You got it in the back of the room? All right.
Good afternoon. I am Stacy Lewin Farber, and I'm joined by my wonderful husband, Dan. And we are honored to present the Flame of Hope Award for ALS research. Prior to hearing the 3 letters that completely upended our lives in February 2021, I worked for over 20 years as an obstetric anesthesiologist. I was determined to find a way to combine my experience as a physician and a patient to make contributions towards advocacy and helping to change the landscape of ALS. A fortuitous series of events led us to dear friends who all of you know, John and Loretta Russo. Then through them, we became a part of the ALS United Mid-Atlantic family. Lower. Or the down. Lower. It is here I met this year's wonderful award recipient, Larry Delaney. Larry is a hero. 35 years ago, 35 years ago, Larry's wife, Lorraine, was diagnosed with ALS. Larry learned what it means to be a caregiver, and he was ready to step up to raise 4 amazing 4 amazing daughters when Lorraine passed away. One of those daughters, Karen, developed ALS in 2011. Like her mother, Karen had the SOD1 gene. They discovered that at least 30 members of their family had developed ALS. Over the years. And because of this gene, sadly, Karen passed away in early 2017. You take over. Take over. Take over.
But our fight continues through Larry. Larry is an incredible... Sorry. Larry is an incredible inspiration as he turned his losses into fuel to further the fight against ALS. He has served on the ALS United Mid-Atlantic board for many years and is currently the chair of the Scientific Research Committee, which Stacy is proud to serve on. Larry is instrumental in guiding the discussion about how to make sure our funding makes the biggest impact. He listens to the science and he listens to the patients. Larry will tell you that he is not a science expert, but Stacy doesn't really believe him. With Larry's leadership, ALS United Mid-Atlantic is funding important ALS research in our area and collaborating with other leading ALS organizations, because he knows that we can only end ALS if we do this together. If you are touched by ALS, know that Larry has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Now we have a chance to say thank you to him. As a person living with ALS, who greatly admires this hero, Stacy, along with her husband, me, is so very honored to present Larry Delaney with the Flame of Hope Award for ALS research. Congratulations to Larry and your family.
I was determined to get through this day.
Thank you, Stacy and Dan, for your kind words. And Stacy, thank you for being involved with the research committee and for the time and effort that you have put into that. As many of you know, a little over a year ago, we separated from ALSA and became ALS United Mid-Atlantic. This affected several areas of our operations, with the funding of research being one of the areas most affected. Prior to our separation from ALSA, we could not fund research directly. All research was funded through ALSA, who determined what research was to be funded. We were able to direct ALSA to apply our research funds to specific projects, but only those that ALSA had approved through their own research committee. In 2024, for the first time, we were able to fund research directly. The research committee, many of whom are here today, developed a process for requesting grant applications. We received several grant submissions from a variety of organizations and institutions. After reviewing these submissions, the research committee, with the board's approval, approved the funding of several research projects, including individual projects at 4 ALS clinics that operate within our territory. Together with other ALS United members, we became a founding sponsor of a 5-year initiative headed by the National Institution of Health. We funded a project at a national ALS research organization, and we contributed to a collaborative research initiative led by another member of ALS United. The reason that we're able to do this was because of all those who have made generous donations, sponsored our events, and participated in our events. So I thank everybody here today and those who are not here for helping us to be able to continue our mission to find a cure and a treatment for ALS. Together, we will find some answers to this horrible disease. So thank you very much. Thanks.
Congratulations, Larry and Marianne and Dale, and certainly thanks to presenters Greg and Sarah, and definitely Stacy and Dan, and Flame of Hope. They are our flames of hope, both the recipients and the presenters. We thank you. Together they combine for over 50 years of support for the ALS cause. And please take a moment today to think about how many persons in this room have devoted years of support in one way or another to benefit ALS care, advocacy, and research. And our next person started it all. She has inspired everyone in this room for her commitment to end ALS. Ellyn Phillips became involved in the ALS cause after her husband, Alan, was diagnosed with ALS in 1982. Her mother, Malvina Charlstein, met Nancy Giles, and together they agreed that ALS belongs in baseball. Since then, Ellyn has devoted her life to this mission and has inspired generations of leaders here and around the country to join in this effort. Please welcome our dear friend, ALS United Mid-Atlantic Board Chair Emeritus Ellyn Phillips, as she shares with us the lasting impact that the Phillies have made to strike out ALS. Ellyn.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. I have always been a Phillies fan. Why? When I was growing up, we had dinner with my grandparents just about every Sunday at Horn and Hardart's at 54th and City Line Avenue. Remember that? To pass the time, and because I was always hungry, I watched the games until it was time to leave for H&H and took a liking to baseball. I shared my love of the game with my friend Ellen Milgram, who is here today. Prior to each season, Ellen and I predicted the Phillies players' batting averages by the end of the season. Admittedly, we were not as accurate as we would have liked. When we got older, I went to summer camp and had the box score from each game sent to me. I also played softball and was the pitcher on the camp team. As a teacher in the Abington School District in the late 70s, I coached the girls' softball team, and they were fierce. I also played on a women's team, again pitching. When I caught a screeching ball right in front of my face, I took off my cleats and retired. On my first date with my future husband, Ellyn, he asked me what I liked to do. As I told him that I had season tickets to the Phillies, I believe he spit out what he was eating in shock and delight. Ellyn and I married in 1979. We went to the 1980 World Series victory party together and welcomed our daughter Amy, who's here today, in 1981. Amy received many Phillies onesies, hats, socks, and other apparel. My love for the Phillies has continued and has never waned. Our relationship first started when, ironically, a dog brought the Phillies and our organization together. Nancy and Bill Giles lived on a hill, and their dog often wandered down the hill and plopped itself into my cousins, Bill and Ricky Frizzell's yard. After looking at the dog's tag, the Frizzels contacted Nancy and Bill, and when Nancy went to pick up their dog, my cousins mentioned that Ellyn had ALS and that both of us were huge Phillies fans. That resulted in a meeting in Bill's office, and a beautiful relationship was born, which continues this day. Sadly, my cousin Ricky was later felled by ALS. As the years went by, the Phillies made sure that the players, their wives, coaches, broadcasters, and staff were all aware of what ALS was. We were able to invite a patient to the locker room and have them talk to the team about ALS. That same night, we had dinner with the Phillies' wives, and they met the person with ALS as well. After the autograph party and auction, the players routinely visited with a group of patients and their families. Lots of photos were taken. One year, I heard a bit of a commotion. I looked over to where it was coming from, and there was Phillies catcher Cameron Rupp on the floor having a sit-up contest with one of the children of a man who had ALS. So many of the players were incredibly kind to our families. For example, and they're here today, players and wives Connie and Greg Gross have led the Kirk golf outing every year for the past 14 years, give or take a few years. Aaron Nola donates dollars for his strikeouts, as his uncle Ellyn had ALS. Cody Ashe became close with ALS families, the Colbys and Kirks, who are here today, and Kurt and Shonda Schilling, along with Peggy and Mickey Morandini, supported the Kurt's Pitch for ALS program. Occasionally, I would sit with John Middleton for the auction portion, he's laughing already, of the autograph party. Once John's daughter sat with us. John kept bidding on a motorcycle. His daughter said, "Mom isn't gonna like this." She's still shaking her head. "John, do you still have that motorcycle?" "No." "Would anyone like a motorcycle?" To the Phillies, we are grateful for their 40 years of extraordinary support. No one deserves it more. We hope and pray that it will not be 40 more years before a cure will be found. Thank you.
Ellyn, incredible and inspirational as always. We love you, and we'll continue this fight because you called us to do so. Now it's up to all of us, everyone in this room, to help keep the fight against ALS going. Our final speakers of the day understand the reality of ALS and the impact that baseball can have. Sarah Langs is a researcher for MLB.com and Mandy Bell is a reporter based in Cleveland. Thanks to one of their bosses, they were arranged to meet at a spring training game in 2019 as they both were set to begin their first year working for MLB. Immediately, a lifelong, long-distance friendship was born, and they are now virtually inseparable. Sarah was diagnosed with ALS in 2021. Her diagnosis made their friendship even stronger. Since then, Sarah has been sharing her story to bring attention to ALS, and all Major League Baseball has rallied to her side. This June, Sarah joined the Phillies for their ALS Awareness Day, and now we are privileged to have a special presentation from Mandy Bell with a video from Sarah Langs, who is unable to be here in person as she was with Major League Baseball last night in Las Vegas. Please welcome Mandy to the stage.
Hi, this is Sarah Langs from MLB.com. I just wanted to send in a quick video to thank a few people. I'm so sorry that I'm not there today, but I'm so grateful to Mandy Bell, who was there to represent both of us. My dear best friend has become such an amazing advocate for ALS, and I'm so grateful for him. So thank you, Mandy, and I love you. I also want to thank the Philadelphia Phillies for 40 years of ALS support for the community. I'm so grateful for all of them. I'm personally grateful for the amazing Lou Gehrig Day that was put on this past year. I was so glad to be part of that. So thank you to the Phillies. And lastly, thank you to ALS United for inviting Mandy and for all of the support of the ALS community. Again, just so grateful to the entire community. So thank you, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Sarah Langs, and please welcome Mandy Bell.
Thank you. Yeah, Sarah was in Vegas last night for MLB's All MLB Awards show, so no disrespect to anyone here, but I think she preferred sitting at a table with Mookie Betts instead of any of us. I get it, it's fine, I understand. But yes, as they said, my name is Mandy Bell, that is my best friend in the whole world. And we basically have met through baseball. I started with MLB in 2019, and she transferred over from ESPN to MLB, thankfully, in 2019 as well. Our boss sort of set up a meeting for us in spring training to just kind of have another female ally in this world, because there's not many of us, and we became best friends from that moment, and have not missed a day of texting each other since. So thank you to him for arranging that. Before I get even more into this, I do want to say, at least on behalf of Sarah, that she's been a part of a lot of ALS events with Major League Baseball now. There aren't too many faces directly in MLB, especially employed by MLB, who are battling this, so she's been involved in a lot. And no disrespect to any other teams, but I cannot say enough about what the Phillies did for her this year. She was texting me the whole day saying that this was by far the best event that she had been part of in June. So thank you on behalf of me, her, everyone, for putting that together, because she loved every second of it. So we were obviously best friends in 2019, 2020, and then our friendship took a little bit of like a plot twist whenever I got a phone call in August of 2021. She had been trying to figure out for a few weeks how she was going to tell me about her diagnosis. She was diagnosed in July of 2021 when she was only 28 years old at the time, and she basically was putting this off because she was nervous of how it would be for me, because that defines who Sarah is to a T. She doesn't care about herself, she cares about everybody else around her. And so she finally gave me the phone call. I don't even really remember what I said immediately. I think you sort of black out in that moment, and immediately she said, "I'm sorry." And that broke the ice because then I was allowed to yell at her and say, "What are you saying sorry for? This is ridiculous." But that's Sarah. Sarah's a person who will worry about making sure that everyone else feels comfortable with her situation instead of worrying about her own situation. So as you can tell, it's pretty easy to be best friends with somebody like that. It just seems like I've started to notice a trend that ALS seems to just target the sweetest, most genuine, compassionate people out there. I thought it was just ironic that Sarah was the one who was diagnosed with this because I've never met somebody who loves baseball more than Sarah. I truly don't think it exists. And to the irony of just having a diagnosis be the same name as someone who's one of the greatest players who have ever played our game, it just didn't seem to make sense to me. In some cruel way, it seems like now that I've learned more about this disease and the people within its community, that these are the traits that everyone who's been diagnosed with this seem to have, of just the loving, the care, and it just seems cruel that those are the people who seem like they're the ones who can handle the battle the best, and they do it so effortlessly, it seems like. I've been inspired by watching Sarah take this on every single day and never let it seem to face her. And so it's been difficult to watch that, but it's been kind of eye-opening in a way of seeing all the ties that Sarah has with Lou Gehrig, which is weirdly haunting, but sort of like she's sort of had this path to be in this moment. We've texted about it. She read a book about Lou Gehrig, and she started noticing all the same things. There were addresses that he had in Chicago that ended up being the same apartment that she lived in when she was in college in Chicago, and she was saying how she read that he sent thank you notes to his doctors after he was diagnosed with this, obviously at that time, super rare, unheard of disease. And she didn't know that, but she too sent thank you notes to each doctor who diagnosed her with this because she felt the weight on her of what they must have felt giving her this news. And she felt terrible that they had to go through that. She loves her birthday more than any person ever. It was the first thing that she told me when we became friends, that her birthday was May 2nd. It's like, okay, well, this is coming on a little strong, but sure, I'll take it. And it just so happens to be the same day that Lou Gehrig's streak of consecutive games played ended May 2nd, and obviously ended because his body was telling him that he couldn't play anymore. And it's just this sick, beautiful, weird, all the adjectives, sense of irony of the situation that has kind of brought some sort of calm over both of us, as if this was supposed to be how it is, even though it's been an awful process, but it's given her so much light, and it's given her this ability to be seen by so many more people, even though her research and her baseball speaks for itself and has gotten her on front and center of so many people. She has not let it slow her work down. She is ridiculous and never stops working. She watches every single game of every team every single day because she is our researcher. So even if she's not on shift, she is working. She's sending everybody stats. She's sending everybody things that you might be sitting there wondering in a game, oh, I wonder when the last time this happened. Well, she had already found the answer 4 innings ago because she projected that this could possibly be the case. So if it does happen, she's going to be sending out a tweet that second so that nobody has to wonder very long. She comes up with the best stuff that you could possibly imagine, and she is truly the smartest person that's in this game. I will die on that hill. She is just unlike anybody else. She covered the postseason, the World Series this year. She covered it last year. She covered the World Baseball Classic. Her wonderful boyfriend, Matt Williams, takes her everywhere to make sure that she can still have all of these experiences. So she's not letting it slow her down, and I have no idea how she does it. I mean, she's right now flying back from Vegas from yet another event that she went to. So it's been incredible, but she did have some hesitations as to whether she would want to be public. Obviously, this disease sort of forces you to be public at some point, but she really tried to see if she could push it off as long as she could. So she didn't go public with her diagnosis until October of 2022, which was more than a year after she got her diagnosis. She didn't want to be the ALS girl, and I think a lot of people can relate with that who have been touched by this disease. You don't want to lose your own identity because of something that you didn't ask for. And she was concerned that that's what she would get like people would want her on TV stations because she has ALS, not because she's literally the smartest person in baseball. She didn't want to have that identity removed from her. We spent weeks of just trying to build that courage, and once she did, it's been unbelievable to see the way that baseball has received her and made sure that she's really just known as the baseball nerd still, rather than being the girl who has ALS, who just so happens to work in Major League Baseball. She's been able to find this perfect balance and blend of being the baseball nerd and also being a fierce advocate for ALS without having the two blend together. She is at, like I said, almost every Lou Gehrig ALS type of event that's tied to baseball she possibly can be, because she knows it's important for her to be there. She knows it's important to continue to spread this awareness as much as she can. And she's been such a voice in the ALS community. She works closely also with Her ALS Story, which is a group for women who are diagnosed under the age of 35. And she inspired me. I realized I'm part of the problem, because when she called me that day to tell me her diagnosis, I didn't know much about ALS. I knew Lou Gehrig, that popped in my head right away. And then I thought of all my favorite athletes that I saw dump a bucket of ice on themselves when I was in high school. Like, that's really all I knew. And I realized that's not okay. And that's probably one of the biggest issues here, is that people just don't know what it entails. They don't know what you go through and how devastating it can be. So I decided to run a half marathon at Disney World over a year ago now, January of 23, because that was her favorite thing to do, was running. And to this day, I really wish she would have liked any other activity, because I would not do that again. Running was always a punishment in sports for me when I played sports. So I'm like, why do you do this for fun? But she did. She did so many half marathons, and she did 3 after the onset of symptoms before she got her diagnosis. She thought she just had an ankle injury, and it turned out to be ALS, and somehow she still ran 3. So I was like, okay, if you can do that, fine. I can easily do 1 then. And we ended up raising $105,000 in the process to be able to just have, the baseball world wanted to support her so badly. And so we started a GoFundMe. I forced her. I don't know if she ever did it, because she didn't tell me to take some of it, because that was kind of the point. But I know she at least donated $85,000 of that to Project ALS. And then she also, the following May, began a Fist Bumps for ALS campaign. I don't know if anyone would have seen it through, she had it on, did a bunch of different sports, started to try to pick that up. And as I checked, I guess it was like 2 days ago, that's about to hit $100,000 as well. So she's been inspiring so much productive research and people trying to get the awareness and raising money and everything. So she's just been such a force in this community that just needs to be recognized. I saw at least someone had a Baseball is the Best t-shirt on. I think, oh, right over here in the corner, there's at least one Baseball is the Best. That's Sarah's t-shirt as well. RotoWare did an unbelievable job of reaching out to me to see if that would be a design, and we tried to surprise her where it says baseball is the best, her catchphrase. If anyone has ever gone on social media, you'll see baseball is the best somewhere. That's become well known for Sarah's catchphrase. They made it, and then they made the ALS in baseball is the best down the middle. They have end ALS through it, and so that's raised, I think the last time I checked from them, that was close to $100,000 as well. So the impact that she has made is unbelievable. It needs to be recognized, and I know she doesn't want it, and it's probably better that she's not here, because she would hate me for saying all of this stuff. So we were able to get through all of that. She definitely won't be stopping anytime soon. I know that we're now 3 years past her diagnosis date, and she's not slowing down. Like, her body's starting to slow down, but she's not. And she's not allowing any of this to stop her from work, from being an advocate, whatever it may be. She and I continue our long-distance friendship. I'm in Cleveland, she's in New York. We text every single day about baseball, basically, because we're both nerds and losers, and that's fine. So we just talk about that all day, even in the off season. Like I said, she really, really is obsessed with baseball. But there's never a day that we go without telling each other that we love each other, because part of her journey in this process has been trying to not convince, but maybe open a door for people to realize that you should be telling everyone in your lives who are important to you that they are, and that you appreciate them and love them, instead of just waiting for something to go wrong. And so she's tried to say that everywhere that she goes, because it just seems like that's the reality for her, is that she starts to notice so many people are coming up to tell her how important she is. And she's like, well, but we shouldn't be waiting to tell people this stuff. And so I couldn't leave the stage without at least sharing that message. So if there's nothing else for this day, maybe everyone else for Sarah can go along, reach out to somebody that is important to you, the same way that Sarah seems to do every single day with everybody. Let them know that they matter, that they're appreciated, because I know Sarah would appreciate everyone doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Beautiful story about a beautiful friendship, Sarah Langs and Mandy Bell. We thank you. As we finish this unforgettable annual celebration, remind you to take the flowers. Someone's got to take the flowers off the table, so decide amongst yourselves who that will be. Also, please visit alsmidatlantic.org, alsmidatlantic.org to donate, volunteer, advocate, or sign up for an ALS United Walk. You can join us tomorrow morning at Citizens Bank Park for our Philadelphia ALS United Walk. Hope we see you there tomorrow morning. And that's the story. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great weekend.